Hey, Tom Hegna here with my 2021 economic commentary. I know it's a little later than normal, but I told my staff I wanted to wait till after January 5th and January 6th, and I think you saw why. So January 5th, the election in Georgia determined that the Democrats control the House, the Senate, and the presidency, all right? I thought that might have a negative reaction in the market. It didn't, and I'll share with you why I think that is. And then I wanted to wait till after January 6th because that's when the certification was going to take place. And we all know what happened on that day. All right. So, look, a couple of things. First of all, you know, Mohammed El-Arian said this is the most that he's ever seen in his life of how dislocated the market is from the actual economy, and that things just don't seem to make sense. When people are storming the Capitol, the market hits an all-time record high. That doesn't seem to make sense. So why is that happening? And then I'm going to talk about interest rates. I'm going to talk a little bit about where I see the future with the politics, a little bit dealing with finances. I'm going to throw in a little bit on cryptocurrencies, the importance of putting protection into your investments and your products, and the importance of protection products and your overall financial wellness. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about how to retire with confidence. So how can the markets be going up when everything seems to not be going well? I mean, COVID is at record levels. You know, we had the whole politics and the January 6th thing. How can markets be headed higher? The Democrats control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. People thought that would be a big negative. Well, look, there's a couple reasons why this market seems to keep going higher. First of all, Tina, there is no alternative. Like, if you take it out of the market, where are you going to put it? Where are you going to put it that's going to do anything? Interest rates have been very low. They've been ticking up a little, but they've been very low. There's really no alternative to the market. And then, even though the Democrats control everything and that people would have thought that might be negative to the market, the way the market sees it, I mean, they heard Joe Biden say he's ready to spend trillions. So the spending of trillions of dollars, they're going to hand more money out in stimulus. That's going to have a positive impact on the stock market. It's not going to be necessarily positive for the country in the long term, but I mean, we're doing a lot of things that maybe not are positive for the long term. And so the markets are they don't look at the long term. They look at what's going on now. And right now, the spending of these trillions of dollars is positive for the market. We'll talk about in a minute why that might not be positive for the country or interest rates over the long term. Now, everybody says that interest rates are headed higher, like everybody. Like, it's so obvious interest rates are going higher, right? Well, as you know, I've been one of the only economists in the world for the past 9 years that's been consistent saying interest rates are not going up. Now, I'm going to modify that a little bit this year. I still think interest rates are going to remain low, but certainly they're trending up, and there's a lot of forces trying to make interest rates go up, all right? The Federal Reserve is printing money. They've increased their balance sheet by trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. You know, we're spending money, all the stimulus money and all of this stuff. I mean, they say don't fight the Fed. Well, the Fed wants rates to go up. They want to see some inflation, and so they're keeping their overnight rates low. That's the only the rates that the Federal Reserve can control. They can't control the 10-year and they can't control the 30-year. So what I'm going to do is, instead of saying where interest rates are going, I don't think they're going to do a lot. They're going to probably bump up a little, but I don't see this rampant inflation. But if you're one of those that's really worried about higher interest rates and higher inflation, let me give you one of my key crystal balls. Look at the U.S. 30-year government bond. All right, the U.S. 30-year government bond got way down low earlier this year. You know, right now it's like at 1.8 something. You know, and certainly that could go to 2.5%. It could. I wouldn't really worry about it until it gets to 3. Once it hits 3% and higher, then yeah, maybe the market is seeing inflation. But when you have a 30-year bond that's under 2%, the market, the bond market, the smartest market in the world, certainly does not see any inflation when you got a 30-year bond under 2%. So watch that 30-year government bond. If that starts trickling up and once it goes past 3%, then my inflation, sensors will be out. But right now, I don't see inflation. The world is still facing deflation because of all the things I've talked about in the last 9 years. Massive debt that's just gotten worse. And all debt, remember, is stealing from the future and spending it today. Well, we have now stolen almost $28 trillion of our future and spent it. So by definition, what does that make our future look like? 28 trillion plus interest less than what otherwise could or what it should be. And as you know, once you're in debt, eventually you have to get out of debt. That's called deleveraging. You have to raise taxes. You have to cut spending. That further strangles the economy. So you got the massive debts that's really deflationary. You got this deleveraging that hasn't even happened. That's deleveraging. The demographics of the world and the demographics of America, we're getting old. Japan or Europe is old. Japan is very, very old. China will get old before they get rich, and old people don't spend money. And so those are the things that are causing interest rates to stay low. Those haven't changed. Yes, they're printing money. Yes, they're spending money. Yes, they're trying to do everything they can to get inflation. I don't think it's going to happen, because I do believe there is a cap on interest rates. How far can interest rates go up? We're 28 trillion in debt. If interest rates went up to 5%, we would it would just totally trash our country. We'd have to cut all kinds of spending. We'd have to raise taxes significantly. So I just don't see rates getting very high. Certainly they can get a little higher than what they are now. These are near 55-year lows, but I don't see interest rates going rapidly higher. But again, watch the 30-year bond. I'm not saying I'm the smartest guy in the world. I'm not. But the bond market is the smartest market, so let's watch them. Let's follow what they say. And right now, the 30-year bond is telling me, at least, that it doesn't see any inflation. Everybody thinks of me as being this conservative guy, having guarantees, protection, insurance products, annuities. But you know what? 2 years ago, I said that people should probably put 1% of their portfolio into cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin. And I did that. And I'm sure glad I did, because I'll tell you, that little 1% has grown up to be now probably 15% of my portfolio. And I'm going to be trimming that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not, bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered. I'm not going to be a pig. But at the same time, I just think that, there's so many places that it can be used. Like, I was a non-believer. I was a total non-believer because, look, Bitcoin is worth nothing, right? What is it? It's nothing. But there are a lot of people who use it, and I'm not going to get into it all. I watched a thing on CNBC, and it really changed my mind as a non-believer of crypto to at least a 1% holding. I'm not saying go crazy with it, but 1%, if it went to zero, it wouldn't hurt you. And if it goes to $1 million of Bitcoin, it would sure help you. So I'm not against that, all right? So I've never been against that. And by having some guarantees in your portfolio, you can actually take a little more risk if you want to. I would also tell you that this is a time that you want to put protection on your portfolios, all right? I filmed a video right before the market crashed, before the pandemic, or right when they found out about the pandemic. I put out a video that says why every investor needs an annuity now. I'm not going to go over that. You can Google it. It's still on YouTube. Why every investor needs an annuity now. And I just simply said that with markets near all-time record highs, and they are, this is a time when you want to protect your portfolio. Because the way you make money in the market is you buy low and you sell high. Unfortunately, most people buy high when everybody's buying, I got to get in. And when the market crashes, they panic and they sell. That's how you lose money. And by putting some protections on your portfolio, you can actually weather those downturns that you don't have to sell because you've got some guarantees. So that's where I think annuities can play a role. Life insurance can play a role. If you're young, you should have disability insurance. If you're older, you need to have a plan for long-term care. These are just protection products that can help the bad things from happening to you, so that you can retire with confidence, because that's what it all comes down to. You see, I want to be able to retire whether rates are low, whether rates are high, whether the market's down, whether the market's up, no matter which party's in the White House. I want to be able to retire with confidence and do the things that I want to do. I like to play golf. I like to play tennis. I like to play pickleball. You might want to go fishing. You might want to go traveling. You might want to do whatever you want. But that's what you should be able to do. And you can't do that with a purely market-based retirement. You've got to put some protection products in there. You've got to have some guaranteed lifetime income. You want to manage key risks. You want to manage market risk, longevity risk, inflation risk, deflation risk. You might need long-term care. You might die. You don't want to take out too much money. There's a lot of risks in retirement. And so really, a successful retirement is based on two simple things. Number one, you want to make sure you have increasing income for the rest of your life. And number two is risk management. You've got to take those key risks off the table. Certainly you can invest in the market, but that shouldn't be your only investment. You should have some guaranteed lifetime income to at least cover your basic living expenses. So look, that's my economic commentary for 2021. I don't see a lot of, big changes, but again, watch that 30-year government bond. I'm not here to give you just my opinion. I want to share with you ways that you can follow this on your own and watch it on your own. So watch that 30-year government bond. That'll give you an idea of where inflation's going and where interest rates might be headed in the future. And I will see you next year.